Are standard Rateup banners really a massive bait? Welcome back to Cocky Gachas, and in this video, I am going to make an exception and talk about a standard Rateup banner unit that just came today, and that is Unli. If you have been following me with Reverse 1999, I have never ever touched on any of the standard Rateup banners because they are usually not worth it, and making a video on those banners is probably just going to farm views, right? Because I'm just going to spend 10 minutes telling you why you shouldn't pull on those banners and don't get baited. But this time around, I do think that there is a legit point for me to discuss Unli's Rateup banner, because Unli, in my opinion, is one of the rare characters that I believe there is a slight chance that you might want to pull for her. And first, I'm going to touch on her kit as usual to see why she really is the exception that you might be looking for. So first things first, we have this buff over here. This is a very strong buff, one cut buff that instantly gives you 2 rounds of damage dealt 15% and damage taken 15%. Of course, it scales up with 2-star, 3-star. It goes up to 30% at 3-star. And also the second skill over here, right? This is a card whereby at 3-star, it inflicts day status, which means that the opponents cannot act for 1 turn. If you're thinking, right, Cocky, hey, 3-star card so difficult to get, right? I cannot get 3-star card. The reason why 3-star card is a bit more relevant on Unli is because of her insight. So if you see over here, right, with insight 1, which is the most notable one, you are able to switch between break time as well as exorcism time, with huge focus on exorcism time, whereby your incantation right most will get +1 star. With a bit of manipulation at the start of the round, right? In fact, you could get a 3-star card in the next turn if you just play it right? Start with 2 Unli cards and then play merge it, and the next turn you're going to have it. This is all the tricks that you can play with it. So 3-star card, not exactly the hardest thing to do with Unli. And lastly, we have this Ghostbuster over here. Scientific Ghostbuster, which is the ultimate, does mass attack 400% reality damage. And of course, within this scope itself, right, also provides the Empower Incantation status, which is what makes her so good and what we always call her the God for, right? Making Empower Incantation status when other units in current patch do not have the ability to do so, and in future patches, right, in 1.3, right, Black Dwarf is the one, but usually when you play her at Portrait 0, Black Dwarf wouldn't even touch the Empower Incantation as well. So you can think of it as exclusive to Unli until further alternatives in 1.4 appear in 6, which is what we are also going to touch on later. But Empower Incantation, OP. You can also mix it in with the Vertin Moxie, like I mentioned multiple times, 25 Moxie. You can instantly change it to another card. So very flexible, very good support over here. Of course, we're not going to mention too much about the portraits. Generally, all standard characters' portraits are not the most significant, and Unli as a support sub-DPS isn't really hugely focused on the DPS aspect. It's more on her supporting aspects, the buff being extremely strong, the days being helpful, but most importantly, her ability to get Empower Incantation, meaning she's relatively AP generous because you can just buff, you don't want to attack, you can don't attack, wait for the cards to level up and then shuffle it to another unit, or you can use it for your own. It's really up to you. So very AP generous, very good character. In current patch context, she is one of the most premier characters, and I'll even go to extent to say that she is much better compared to a DPS user like Centurion, because we have alternatives in the Melania. So for her unique role itself, providing the sustain from the buff aspect and also damage increase, as well as also giving the Empower Incantation, I think that she is a very relevant character. However, okay, we have to touch on also the reasons why people usually skip standard Rateup banners, and why I am, of course, not 100% asking you to pull for Unli. I'm asking you to think for yourself. And the reason is because being a standard banner character, a Rateup banner character, if you were to go for a banner like Changling, okay, if you go for Changling banner, you go for Jessica banner, if you go on to lose the 50-50, you can only lose 50-50 and get characters from the standard pool. So meaning Melania pickers, all of this Rateup banner that are from 1.1 patch onwards, right, you're not being able to get them if you were to lose the 50-50, which means there is a chance that you will lose 50-50 on other Rateup banners that you are saving for, potentially Changling, and you will be able to get Unli that way. So this is one of the main reasons why people do not pull on standard Rateup banners. However, once again, right, 1 in 11 chance is not 100% chance, meaning you might not get Unli at all. So Rateup banners for standard, right, there are still reason to go for them, especially if you have a strong character in Unli. But when talking about Unli, right, a lot of people will also say that, hey, there might be alternatives in the future, right? So what if she gets power cracked? And in the future, I will tell you in 1.4, there is a very significant notable character coming up called 6. And 6's role is to provide buffs to the team, and at the same time can provide debuffs and very AP generous in 4-man context. Very good as well because of the amount of buffs that he can give to the amount of party members, right? So people will compare Anandi to 6 and say that, hey, you should just wait for 6. And just to give you guys a context of what you are waiting for, by the way, you are waiting for 1.4 lower half. So count it, translate it to days. Right now, in Changeling Banner, we are 15 days left in Changeling Banner. Okay, 15 days left. One patch is 42 days. 15 plus 42 is 57 days. And that is the time from now until 1.4 starts. And 1.4 starts with 37 banner, which means you have to wait another 21 days before you go to 6 banner. That is 70 plus days. If you think about that perspective, right, 6 is coming very long away, and this is the same logic that I give people, right, especially when saving for units ahead. Because last time round when I was promoting, I was the first one, I would say, to promote people going for Melania. Everyone else tell you to skip. Okay, I, Cocky Gacha, am the only one that tell you Melania is worth pulling. Show you guys why Melania is good. Despite all of the criticisms, I went ahead and pulled for Melania, and my reasoning is because Melania can help me resolve all my issues that I have right now. I'm playing the game right now. I'm trying to clear content right now. Okay, so if you're a new beginner and you hear people say, hey, skip this banner, skip that banner, wait for 1.4, wait for 1.5, wait for 1.6. People just casually say that they're going to save for 1.6, not knowing, or even if they know, right, they just think that 130 days from now until 1.6 is a very short period of time. 130 days, I don't even know if I'm playing this game 130 days from now. Okay guys, so we have to play for now sometimes. And what is the now that we have to play for? If right now, okay, if I go into the limbo and you have not cleared limbo yet, okay, not even cleared surface, and you haven't even cleared limbo at all, okay, then you tell me that you're playing for the future, I tell you are dreaming. Probably really dreaming. You cannot clear U2 also, cannot clear anything. And it might just be the extra push that you need to clear content. Okay, if you are not clearing content right now and you tell me you are saving for this character, that character, sorry, you do not have the luxury to do so because you are jeopardizing yourself. The 35 pulls that I've accounted for Monday pool includes you clearing all limbo. Every single limbo from now until then, 35 pulls. That is what is being counted from that perspective. So if you are not a day one player, if you're just recently joined the game and you are hearing all of this advice to tell you to skip all of the banners until what banner, then I think that you might be in for a rude awakening when you realize that your pool currency does not match up with what people tell you that you are potentially going to get. So clearing content is very important right now. Okay, this is one thing, one reason why you should go for Unli. And the second reason is also because, right, when we compare Unli to 6, I would tell you that in the future, even though we are moving towards 4-man content, I do believe I still see a lot of 3-man content in current patch. Even there is a lot of 3-man content in Limbo, there is a lot of 3-man content in U2, and for those, right, Unli might even be better than 6 in those contexts. So it's not like Unli is totally obsolete. And more importantly, right, when you look at the Limbo situation in the future, even when you have 6, you are going to need to have 2 teams. Okay, so definitely you can use Unli if you really pull her right now. She's extremely flexible. You can slot her pretty much in all flectors. You can slot her in any team and she will perform. This is something that I can guarantee you. However, at the same time, right, if you're a day one player, you've cleared everything, you say that this doesn't apply to you, sure, you can don't go for Unli. I think it's also perfectly valid for you to save up for your upcoming characters, be it you like your husbando in Charmaine, you want to go for Black Dwarf for the single target because you've missed Melania. All the pool reasons that you have for the other banners still stay the same. But for people that have just joined the game, maybe you joined in the end of 1.1, you joined during the start of 1.2, no matter when you join, look at your own current situation, right? The advice have to come from that perspective. A lot of times I see people asking for my advice without posting their box. No context. Very hard to give you guys advice at all because honestly, pulling or skipping is entirely up to what you value, right? If you really value something and something is absolutely essential for you to clear content, go for it. Also, lastly, right, one reason that you might potentially want to go for ununli, I wouldn't even say that it's in the realm of my consideration for pulling on this, but some people might be really interested in the long haul. In 1.6, a free ununli skin is coming, as you can see on the screen right now, announced recently in the CN live stream. So if you're really going for ununli, you think that this skin looks extremely good because you're playing just for the aesthetics, then this might be a reason for you to pull for ununli. I think for the vast majority of people, this might not be one of the reasons why they want to pull for ununli. Now, of course, after hearing all this, maybe you're still undecided, right? You cannot tell. Then I would recommend you to do something. If you really have the need for ununli, but at the same time you want to save for future characters, probably a good thing to do is to consider what PT you are on right now. For instance, over here you can see I'm on 10 plus PT over here, and 10 plus PT honestly is not very high PT. If you want to try your luck, you can give a 10 pull to ununli to see whether you hit ununli. If you hit ununli, good for you, because ununli is a good character that you want anyways. And if you don't hit ununli, continue saving your precious pulls for whatever character you are going to pull. It's not going to make a difference at all since you didn't hit ununli. So a lot of people will also call this building PT because they are a dumbass and they don't understand what is wanting a character but getting it at a discount. So I'm not going to dispute it over here. This is up to you guys. This is just my recommendations. Also, at the same time, the only thing that dropped over here is not the ununli banner, but also the golden thread banner. If you have already put for a golden thread banner but you are unsure who to pick, definitely check out this video over here. I'll see you guys over there. This is Cocky Gachas signing off.